Welcome to this explainer. Let's just jump right in. Picture a massive, highly valuable digital fortress. Inside, you've got the crown jewels, private data, financial records, and proprietary secrets. But right outside those walls, a chaotic, relentless siege is going on literally 24/7. Today, we're diving into exactly what that digital siege looks like. We'll explore the sophisticated network attacks trying to smash their way in, and then we'll build the ultimate defense, the layered security designed to stop them cold.
Okay, here's our game plan for today. We'll start with the digital siege, move into overwhelming the system, look at man-in-the-middle attacks, cover other covert threats, and finally, unpack the 7 layers of defense. Let's get to it.
Section 1. The digital siege. At its core, a network attack is just an unauthorized action aimed at your digital assets, trying to alter, destroy, or steal private data. And attackers usually lay this siege in one of 2 ways. First, you've got passive attacks. This is where they sneak in, quietly monitor, and steal data without actually changing a thing. They're basically invisible spies. Then there's the active attack. This one is way more destructive. They are actively modifying, encrypting, or just outright destroying your data.
Section 2. Overwhelming the system. So let's look at one of the absolutely loudest, most chaotic tactics out there, resource flooding. The goal is super simple. You just flood the target with so much junk traffic that it completely chokes and can't respond to real, legitimate requests. We see this in 2 main flavors. First is a standard DOS, or denial of service attack, coming from a single source. Think of a SYN flood, where the attacker leaves the server hanging on a digital handshake, or a ping of death that just crashes the system with oversized data packets. But then you have DDoS, distributed denial of service. This is a massive escalation because it blasts the target with traffic from multiple sources all at the exact same time.
To get that unbelievable, overwhelming scale, attackers use a botnet. Honestly, it's pretty terrifying when you think about it. A botnet is this huge network of innocent, everyday computers, called bots, that have been infected with malware. They're all remotely controlled by one person, the bot herder. When that herder gives the signal, this entire zombie army attacks the server at once. It is brute force, just amplified to the extreme.
Section 3. Man-in-the-middle attacks.
All right, let's drop the volume for a second and step into the shadows. Not all attacks are loud. Some are pure, silent espionage. In a man-in-the-middle or MITM attack, a cybercriminal secretly intercepts and relays messages between 2 parties. The crazy part? Both parties totally believe they're talking directly to each other. The attacker literally wedges themselves right into the connection. It's a 2-step dance: data interception, then decryption. They act as a proxy so they can read, steal, or even insert fake information. This is exactly why online banking and e-commerce are such prime targets. They want to pluck your login credentials and financial transactions right out of thin air.
To put this into perspective, think about how easily this happens to everyday users. Take DNS spoofing, also called DNS cache poisoning. You type in a real website, but the poisoned server reroutes you to a fake site that looks identical, just waiting to capture your login. Or think about Wi-Fi eavesdropping. Say you're at a coffee shop connecting to their public Wi-Fi. But wait, the hacker actually set up a rogue access point with a name that looks exactly like the shop's network. Boom. You connect and they are intercepting all your unencrypted data.
And attackers have a whole bag of tricks for these MITM attacks. They'll spoof IPs to hide their true identity. They hijack SSL certificates to fake a secure connection, so you think you're safe, but you're actually on a cloned site. Or honestly, one of the most dangerous ones, session hijacking. This is where they literally steal your browser cookies that hold your active session IDs. If they get those, they can seamlessly break into your accounts without even needing your password.
Section 4. Other covert threats.
Now, attackers have a massively diverse arsenal beyond just flooding servers and spying on Wi-Fi. Let's rapid fire through this final wave of the siege. We've got technical exploits like SQL injection, where hackers sneak malicious code into a database to reveal hidden data. There are zero-day attacks, exploiting brand new, unpatched flaws in a system. Then you have human exploits like social engineering, using deceptive phishing emails to manipulate our trust. We also see APTs, or advanced persistent threats, where attackers exploit multiple vulnerabilities to lurk in a network for months undetected. There's ransomware, which locks up your data and demands untraceable crypto to get it back. And of course, brute force attacks, just relentlessly guessing passwords through trial and error until they break in.
Section 5. The 7 layers of defense.
Okay, let's take a breath. We've seen the chaos, we know their arsenal. Now, let's shift gears to the calm, structured solution. How do we actually defend this digital fortress?
Well, we rely on the classic 7 layers of cybersecurity blueprint. The whole idea here is that a multi-layer framework is infinitely stronger than just one single wall of protection. If an attacker breaches one layer, they immediately hit another, completely different type of barrier. So let's break these down, starting from the outside in.
Right at the edge, we have Layer 1, the human layer. This is almost always the most vulnerable spot, simply because it relies on people not falling for tricks like phishing. We defend this layer with security awareness training, strict password policies, and multi-factor authentication. Moving inward, Layer 2 is perimeter security. Think of these as the literal fortress walls. They control traffic using firewalls, VPNs, and intrusion detection systems. Inside those walls is Layer 3, network security. This protects the bridges connecting everything inside using secure protocols like HTTPS, anti-malware, and network segmentation. That segmentation is absolutely crucial, by the way. It isolates sensitive areas, so if one room gets breached, the whole castle doesn't fall.
To really visualize this outer defense, imagine the wild, untrusted internet. Any traffic trying to get in has to survive a strict gauntlet. First, it hits a router, then a firewall, all while being constantly watched by intrusion detection systems. This setup securely separates your internal network, like your workstations and local servers, from all the dangers out there on the web.
Now let's move into the inner sanctum and see how this builds. Layer 4 is endpoint security. This is all about safeguarding individual devices, your laptops, your phones, using antivirus and EDR tools. Layer 5 is application security, keeping software safe through secure coding practices and web application firewalls. Layer 6 is data security. This is dedicated to the CIA triad, making sure data is confidential, its integrity is intact, and it's available to authorized users, mostly through heavy encryption. And right at the center, Layer 7, mission-critical assets. This is the ultimate lockdown for your most essential hardware and proprietary data, using relentless patching and strict access controls.
So, we've built an incredibly robust 7-layer digital fortress today. We've got firewalls, advanced encryption, complex network segmentation, the whole shebang. But think back to that very first layer. Despite all of this cutting-edge tech, human error is still the #1 target. I mean, an attacker doesn't need to hack a firewall if they can just trick an employee into handing over the keys, right? So I want to leave you with this question about your own everyday security habits. The fortress is only as strong as its guards. Are you the weakest link? Think about it. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and stay secure out there.